How's everybody?
Good morning.
Ooh, we've been having a number of fires, and this is a season where sometimes they get out of control. And so we thought it was important that the fire chief, Chief Ford, bring us up to date in terms of some of the things that we could put in place to make sure that people are safe.
Yes, ma'am. Winter has officially hit us. We had our first cold blue day last week. In fact, the irony is also this first cold blue day we had 3 fire fatalities as a result of a fire on that cold blue day. So what we want to do is we want to encourage everyone to make sure that they have working smoke alarms. I also want to point out the fact that the fire department will come to your home within 2 hours if you call 311 and you're not sure you have a working smoke alarm. We literally will send someone to your house, install a working smoke alarm on each floor of your residence. We install 10-year lithium battery smoke alarms. Consequently, you don't have to change them twice a year when you reset your clock. So we want to make sure that people call us for that. Also, I want to remind people that we'd like for them, now we don't install carbon monoxide detectors, but we want to encourage people to get a carbon monoxide detector and put into their residence. Carbon monoxide is considered amongst fire service a silent killer. You wouldn't even know it's there. It will literally put you to sleep and put you in a position where you're incapable of taking care of yourself. So we want to encourage people to at least get one carbon monoxide detector and put in their residence. Also, we know that families very often use alternative heating sources. We want to encourage people to use them safely. Couple things. If you use space heaters, plug them directly into the wall. Do not use extension cords because extension cords very often can't withstand the amount of power that's pushed through that extension cord, and it heats it up, ultimately degrades that extension cord and may cause a fire. So we want to encourage people to plug it directly into the wall, leave 3 feet space between the space heater and anything that it can ignite. We also want to make sure that people know that kerosene heaters are illegal in the city of Baltimore. So you can't have kerosene heaters and heat yourself in the city of Baltimore. Now, the last thing is live Christmas trees. I love live Christmas trees.
Me too.
When you walk in, the smell reminds you of Christmas. The challenge is there's a way to take care of it, and the most important thing is to make sure you maintain the water in the Christmas tree and make sure you light the Christmas tree properly.
You mean with the light bulbs, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, and use UL inspected lights in order to do that. Christmas trees, when they're dried out, easily catch on fire and consequently burn very, very quickly. So we want to encourage people to be safe during this season. This is our, unfortunately, this is our busy season. Mm. And we're trying to encourage people to be safe and be careful. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for our fire chief?
Yeah, Chief Ford, I understand that fire deaths are at a 10-year high. Is that accurate? And if so, what is the reason?
I can't say that's accurate. I know we have 28 fire fatalities in comparison to 16 of last year. We have to remember that we started this year off on Springwood with 6 babies in that fire. So it pushed us along pretty quickly. So I wanted, as we go into this season, when we had the fire on Cold Spring, I even told my firefighters, and they were, you can feel a different mood when you go out there and talk to them. They were hoping that we'd make it past this season and not have any, but they know how the cold season is. So heating is a challenge. Yes, sir.
Do we know the cause of that fire? Was that due to decorations or something?
No, second floor. The origin was in the second floor of that residence, and it was electrical. It was not Christmas decorations or anything like that. The reason, the one on Cold Spring Lane.
And the one that happened this morning over in Woodruff was also electrical. What can people do?
That
was Beaumont.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, what can people do when it's electrical?
Well,
you don't have Christmas lights up.
well, some of the things we want to encourage people to do is make sure that, especially if they have older houses, make sure that you have an electrician that checks your house and make sure it's safe. Those are challenges in any house, but certainly it is further exacerbated in older residences.
Chief, when you talk about the origin being in the second floor and being electrical, was that like internal wiring, do you know, or is that like something that was plugged in? I don't
want to say I don't know, but I can find out more about it and we can get that to you. The documentation I have, it just said electrical. Okay.
And I know when firefighters go out and check on smoke alarms, they're not just checking on smoke alarms, they're looking at what's plugged into outlets and that sort of thing. How often will firefighters find like a heater that's not plugged in properly, or find someone using a kerosene heater inside the house?
It is not unusual for that to happen sometimes. It's not even unusual that, you all know that we do safety sweeps. Very often, part of the reason why we do that is because of that. Our folks go out, not only do they install smoke alarms, they tell people, okay, you need to remove the clutter so if something happens, but they also tell them the space heater that you have right there is too close to, so that happens often. And I think that our people really keep us from having to run a whole lot more fires than we normally run.
So I'm joined by Dr. Lena Wynn, our Commissioner and Representative of the Baltimore City Health Department. Thank you all for being here. Dr. Wynn wants to share with you a program that focuses on our Be More Healthy Babies program, and they're launching a new program, Sleep Safe, a campaign to encourage parents to follow the ABCD method alone: back, crib, don't smoke, no exceptions when putting their babies to sleep. So I'm going to leave it to Dr. Wynn to explain.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor.
And how old is that little one there?
My baby is almost 4 months old.
4 months old. Giving pictures
Eli.
for the press? No, go ahead.
Lots of pictures. Later times. So no, I wish to thank Mayor Pugh first and foremost for your leadership and for always protecting our most vulnerable, including our children and families. And I also want to acknowledge the members of the Be More for Healthy Babies group and the Child Fatality Review who are here. So Rebecca Deneen, our Assistant Commissioner for Maternal and Child Health. We have Simidel Badero, Dr. Shelley Chu. Where are you, Dr. Chu? Okay, and Kathy Costa, Stacy Tuck. And then we have from Healthcare Access Maryland, Janelle Eliabi, our director for care coordination, and then Bria Babalu and Sharice McNamara. So thank you all for coming. So between 2009 and 2016, there were 122 babies who died in their sleep here in Baltimore City. In almost every time, that's 116 out of 122, the baby was found sleeping in an unsafe sleep environment. That includes babies who died while sleeping on an adult bed with their parent, or on a sofa, in soft bedding, on their stomachs, or with heavy blankets or pillows in their crib. This is every parent's worst nightmare. You heard the mayor mention that I have a baby, Eli, who is almost 4 months old, and I can't imagine what it would be like to walk in and find that he has stopped breathing and has died. So on a personal level and on a professional level, I'm very proud to be part of the health department and the Be More for Healthy Babies work, which involves over 150 partners with hospitals, community messengers, that has resulted in a record low of 7 sleep-related infant deaths in 2016 from a high of 27 in 2009. That's the work that has been done by this coalition to date. This year, so far, we have seen an uptick with 12 babies dying in their sleep so far in Baltimore City. In Child Fatality Review, which is a mandated state committee, we are reviewing these cases, and as a result of our review, we have doubled down on multiple interagency efforts, including training health and social service providers, accessing free cribs, which is a service that we provide through the Health Department and Healthcare Access Maryland. We are providing home visitation services and engaging community health workers in markets, libraries, health fairs, and door-to-door canvassing. This is something that we need all of your help, and I appreciate again Mayor Pugh for helping us to spread the message. And I'd like to ask Morgan, one of our Baltimore Core Fellows, to pass out a resource guide. This is a resource guide on keeping your baby safe this holiday season. And so we urge everyone to follow the ABCDs of safe sleep. That's A is for alone, which is that the baby should be sleeping alone, not with their parent or caregiver. B is for back. Babies should always be put on their backs to sleep. C is for crib. Babies should always sleep in a crib every night and every nap, and the crib should be clean and clear of everything else. Don't put stuffed animals and bedding. They may be cute, but never put them in the crib because it's unsafe. And D is for don't smoke. Cigarette smoking is associated with many different issues, including sleep-related infant deaths and also with fires. So you heard the fire chief, I know, mention to you various hazards in the winter. Mm-hmm. Check your carbon monoxide detector, check your smoke detector. We also have, in the resource guide, we also have included a number of other phone hotlines and information for parents and for caregivers, including the holidays can often be stressful. And so individuals who need to access 24/7 services for mental health and substance addiction can call 410-433-5175, and we have a number of other services that people can call, including to access free cribs as well. So, you know, every baby's life matters. Even one baby dying is one baby too many. And we really appreciate, Mayor Pugh, your leadership in this, and all of you for helping us to spread the message.
And we really appreciate you and your teams, your work on this as well. Any questions for our commissioner?
Did you say there was 27 sleep-related deaths in 2009? Is that right?
The numbers are, so the record high was 27 infant sleep-related deaths in 2009. The record low was 2016, which was 7. And this year we have seen 12 sleep-related infant deaths, which again is one of the reasons why we're spreading the message. I'm sure somebody is going to be asking about the reasons. We are reviewing the cases now in child fatality review as to what the cause of death is. But I can say again that the babies put in unsafe sleep environments is by far the major cause of sleep-related infant deaths. That's what we've seen historically, that 116 out of 122 deaths, the baby was found in an unsafe sleep environment. And that's another reason why, you know, it's hard. I have, with my baby, I have a lot of relatives and friends saying, well, when you were little, we put you on your stomach. Or when you were little, you slept in the same bed as your parents. And yes, a lot of us survived because we were in unsafe sleep environments, but there is new science, there's more research, and we have to follow the best available science and the best available research, and that's the message that we all have to spread.
That 122 figure, that's nationwide?
No, that was between 2009 and 2016. A total of 122 babies died in their sleep here in Baltimore City.
I don't know if you would know this, but with this increase this year, is there a national trend of an increase as well?
So it's hard to say because our numbers are preliminary. We have not received these are the numbers that we have seen reported. They are not the official numbers yet by the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. But if we see a potential trend, we need to be able to alert everyone and do our best to prevent more deaths from happening. So we don't know if this is a national trend or not.
Is this something you report up to the CDC? Does the CDC have larger data set on it? Or is it because it's individually reported that then goes to the CDC by different health departments around the country?
Sure. So we will be receiving national data probably by the first half of next year, but we do all report to a central source.
Is there one of these that's causing more than the others? Because obviously the co-sleeping thing is like you see a lot of people talking about it on social media.
Co-sleeping.
Is that one of the bigger ones, or is it a mix of all four pretty evenly?
So it's with numbers as they are statistically, it's hard to say this is the one particular cause, also because usually there are multiple factors at play. So a baby could be found on a sofa with a caregiver who's also sleeping on the sofa, and there is bedding around them, so there's not usually one factor involved. And I also want to point out another one, which is that in many of the cases, caregivers have undiagnosed and or untreated mental health and substance addiction issues too. So there are multiple issues, and that's why we always follow the say something or if you see something, say something. In so many of the cases, unfortunately, there are other caregivers who will then say, oh, I also thought that this baby could be in danger, but I didn't say something then. And so that's why we really urge for everyone to speak up. If you are at your relative's house and you're seeing a baby in an unsafe sleep environment, this is also a time that you could take to educate your relatives and your loved ones, because it's about saving babies' lives.
Okay,
Can
thank
I
you.
ask another
Sure.
question to this program, because the health commission is here. The mayor's talking about the expansion of Safe Streets, which is under your umbrella. What's that, where does that stand at this moment?
Oh, so right now, it's, we're having conversations with the health department. That team is working with the mayor's criminal justice office. It will be under Drew Vedder's office, and so we're still working cooperatively together, as we will throughout the program, because there are some health components to this program. Am I correct?
Absolutely. So we in the health department, and I know that the mayor fully agrees with us, that violence is also a public health issue. And the Safe Streets model is based on the fact that violence, just like other illnesses, spreads like a contagious disease. And so we're very much committed to expanding the program under the mayor's leadership and to ensure that the Safe Streets model continues with that public health approach, and understanding too the cycle of violence and trauma, that we have to be breaking that cycle. So I know that our entire team at the health department, we're so thrilled about the expansion of Safe Streets, which is an evidence-based program, and I thank the mayor for her tremendous leadership in expanding this evidence-based program.
Yeah, 'cause
Wait a minute, to be clear, so it's moving from the health department to the Office of Criminal Justice?
Yes, but it will work with, the board is still in place, and we will be working with the health department as well.
Very much so, yes. And we're really glad to support the
Is there
mayor.
concern that one of the reasons Safe Streets succeeds is because it has no association with law enforcement?
Yeah, and so we're going to be very careful in terms of how we roll the program out, because we believe that the model does work, and we're not trying to change the model. It's just working more closely with the collaboration of the health department and our office in terms of how we continue to monitor the program as well. But it will operate just about the same.
Is there a reason why it's moving?
We're expanding it. We're expanding
Couldn't
it.
it expand in the health department?
They don't have the capacity that we have at the city level. And the fact that we have to go out and get additional private dollars, I think we have more capacity here.
If I may add
Sure.
to Madam Mayor, that there are other cities, including New York City, which has a very large equivalent of Safe Streets presence. That program is also under the mayor's office, and I know that all of us in the health department are excited about the expansion and the additional resources that can be offered, especially with the coordination through the mayor's office.
And you will still be receiving the same grant money you've been receiving for Safe Streets?
It's now currently, most of the money is coming out of the mayor's office.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay. But even
Initially, when the program started, it was through grants. Am I
That's correct, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But right now, it is the city that is funding the program, and this expansion will be mostly through private dollars and additional city dollars.
How much more money can we expect to see maybe in Safe Streets?
What you can expect to see is, I think we're expanding it by 6 different locations. We're currently at 5? Am I
At
correct?
4.
4, and we're expanding 6 more, so we're adding 6 more.
So total 10.
10.
Okay.
Dr. Wennett, there were a couple employees from Safe Streets who were wrongfully arrested by gun trace task force officers, including Albert Brown. I mean, how have these officers impacted Safe Street operations?
For us, we very much recognize that our program is offering jobs. It also is an incredible opportunity for individuals to give back. I'm really proud of our Safe Streets employees and outreach workers who are doing such hard work. I mean, they're the ones who are walking the streets every day. They have nothing else but their words and their actions to be able to interrupt violence. And so we are working through our community advisory board that the mayor
Stays in
mentioned,
place.
to ensure that our protocols are followed and also that we continue to expand this program.
What are the Safe Streets workers, have they, I'm sure they're aware. that
Yeah,
this-
we've met with them, and I think that they're pleased with the direction that we're going in, and the fact that there's we're going to be adding some more components in terms of support for the program. Thank you all. So I've been joined by faith leaders from across the city. I'd like to welcome Bishop Walter Scott Thomas, Pastor Alvin Hathaway, Pastor Terry Moore, Iman Earl Amin. I know he had to leave because he had to go do a funeral. Howard Libet of the Baltimore Jewish Council, Bishop W.E. Saunders, and Pastor Troy Randall. Did I miss anybody? Reggie. I'm sorry. Pastor Thomas. We walked the streets over in East Baltimore together. And so, let me just thank them all for coming. We realize that in Baltimore, we just face too much violence in our city. And so on Thursday, December the 28th, they will be joining me at City Hall in the evening, right in front of the War Memorial Plaza. And we're having a citywide candlelight visual for the victims of violence that occurred here in our own city. And so I wanted them to share a few words, and we look forward to them bringing their individual congregations. We want to start 2018 off with positive words from our community, and so we're asking others to join us to bring a sign of a positive word for 2018, and we'll be sharing that with the public. So I will begin with our pastors to my right and to my left, and you all can say a few words.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Bishop Walter Thomas from New Psalmist Baptist Church. We're going to be announcing to our congregation, asking them to come out in large number on next week. Even though it's a short notice, we believe that it's a pressing problem. And so we're trying to get as many persons as we can to be involved in this, to take it seriously and to show others that Baltimore is concerned about this problem.
Pastor, I also wanted to take a moment to thank you, because one of the things that the bishop did one Sunday was to invite me to speak before the congregation. But it wasn't just me speaking about violence. It was concerns that you had. And it was a question and answer period. And I think we were able to answer.
Oh, and as a result of it, many of our congregants had a clearer understanding of what the city is trying to do. They can't solve all problems, and they can't solve them all overnight, but at least they heard the efforts that are going forward and the struggle in leadership to wrestle with such a pervasive problem.
Thank you. Pastor?
Bishop Willard Saunders, pastor creative So Much More Worship Center in Cherry Hill. And I am standing here today in direct support of this prayer visual. We really do believe that that the City Hall is not the answer and the church is not the answer, but we're all the answer together. And that we really need to do a collaborative effort. So we're going to be calling on everyone to come out and be a part of this vigil. We do believe that together we can find the answer, and through prayer and through collaboration and just putting our hearts and our minds and our spirits together, we are confident that we can make a difference. We've been able to make a difference in Cherry Hill and in that south part of Baltimore, just coming together in this manner. And we do believe if we stand with the mayor on this, that we can make a difference throughout the entire city of Baltimore.
Pastor?
Yes, Reginald Thomas. I pastor Greater Gethsemane Baptist Church in East Baltimore, and I will be as well encouraging our congregation to come out in strong numbers to support this effort. I like the idea that although it is a prayer visual, that it is also inclusive of words of affirmation, words of hope, and I think that our city needs hope. Our city needs to know that that our leaders are listening, and so we are grateful certainly to our mayor and to all these pastors who are here who are coming out to say we're listening. And the good news is that we also have a God who's listening, and we want to come and to be present reminders to our city that hope really is alive.
I also want to take a moment to thank Pastor, because we did a listening tour. I think I've spoken to you all about the listening tours that we do across the city. And when we were doing our listening tour over in East Baltimore, Pastor walked with me through the neighborhood.
Yes.
And we had conversations with individuals specifically on Madison Avenue,
That's correct.
not far from your church, about their feelings about the neighborhood, what they thought we could bring to the neighborhood, some of the things that were lacking in the neighborhood. And we came back the following Saturday with the resources that people had asked us to bring back. Expungements, so we did several expungements in the community. We had conversations around recreation centers. We did open up one at a later hour over in that community. And then we also talked about the involvement and engagement that the church could do. So
That's
thank
correct.
you for taking
My
time to
pleasure.
do that.
My pleasure.
I am Pastor Troy Randall, the pastor of the Horn of David International Ministries. We're in the Park Heights community. As you understand, the Park Heights have been plagued with violence and crimes and shootings. And we just recently had a meeting with Madam Mayor, who invited all of their clergy to come down, and we talk about the situations and solutions for our area. And one of the solutions that she talked about is a prayer vigil. So we are definitely going to support her as she supports us in the Park Heights community. She has done a great job with helping us revitalize the Park Heights community, one of her things she wanted to do. But now she's reaching inward into the communities, into the neighborhoods, and into the churches to give us support. So we thank her for that.
So that was a meeting of about 30 ministers who
Yes.
came here from Park Heights to talk about some of the issues that they were facing. I happened to be one of the neighborhoods I was going through and came upon a couple of pastors who were talking about the drug issues that were occurring up in that community, and I asked them if they would come down and let's sit down and talk about solutions to the problems that they were facing. So about 30 came down, and I think we're working on some real solutions. So thank you. Howard, and then.
It's great to follow another partner from the Park Heights community. Yeah, the Jewish community is just as committed as all the others to trying to solve our city's crime problem and doing whatever we can to play a role in helping. It's so many different faith partners. It's not any one community's problem. It's all of us to have to work together, and we'll look forward to participating and encouraging the rabbis and different congregations to come out. Thanks.
Reverend Alvin Hathaway, pastor of Union Baptist Church. This prayer vigil really brings together the faith community around not only just to pray for the families who have experienced loss, but also to launch what will be, you see, an activism of faith community along in partnership with the city. There is a conversation that is going on that will be launched at this time, hashtag Unify Baltimore. Good is rising. And we're going to emphasize as we move into 2018 the good that is happening all throughout this city. And I believe that good will win over that which is evil. And so we are proud that the mayor has called us together. We look forward within our communities to the 2018 as a hallmark year in our city, where you see activism upon the faith community, as well as you see collective unity within the people of this city. So, Madam Mayor, we thank you for calling us together, and we are excited about as we move into this new year.
Thank you.
I just want to thank Madam Mayor because she believes in the power and the worth of prayer. And so we join with City Hall and all officials as the Northwest Faith-Based Community Partnership, which is a consortium of congregations within the Northwest area of Baltimore. We are sending out the SOS that we would come together in unity. I'm also the pastor of New Solid Rock Fellowship Church, and we have declared and decreed that the Northwest District is a holy district. It doesn't mean that we're holier than thou, but we are holy as thou. That is our goal. And so that people would then appreciate the sanctity of life as we declare and decree that the Northwest, and not only Northwest, but all of Baltimore City, is a holy district set aside for renewal, revival, and restoration. And we are hopeful we will see change, positive change, because when we get up off of our knees from prayer, we are moved into action. Thank you.
Cornelius Scott, Executive Director of Mothers of Murdered Sons and Daughters United Incorporated. Ms. Daphne founded this organization to collaborate and build with partners, and I appreciate that on this day, moms with the advisor of this mayor is collaborating in this effort which we believe will bring forward a new possibility, new opportunities. So thank you for the opportunity and the platform to collaborate with so many wonderful faith-based leaders. Thank you.
So I look forward to everybody joining me here Thursday, December 28th. The doors of City Hall will be open. Some folks will meet us around 6 p.m. We expect to be up in action around 6:30 p.m. We'll be serving probably hot chocolate or something like that. And I just want to encourage everyone who will join us to bring a sign with you. We will have signs, but we're asking everybody to bring a sign of hope as we have our candlelight visual. That's this Thursday, December the 28th at 6:30 p.m. Again, the doors of City Hall will open at 6 p.m. For invited guests. And again, thank you all. I look forward to future collaboration as we put our Interfaith Commission together. And thank you all for being here with me. Any questions for any of the pastors?
I heard talk
Bishop?
of both prayer and action.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any unified actions the churches are doing around violence that everyone's getting involved with the same sort of?
You want to talk about one of our initiatives? Yes, one of our initiatives that when we met with Madam Mayor a few weeks back is to form a task force. Actually, the mayor already has a group that goes out bi-weekly, and the clergy have joined with that group to go to hot spots within, we know we're doing it within the transformation zone within the Northwest District, but we're going to these hot spots and engaging folks that are standing on the corners who possibly, we're interrupting violence there and engaging them and giving them alternatives, offering them job opportunities and other opportunities to improve their lots in life. So that's one of the things that we've been doing, and we want to take that even a step further by partnering with other groups like Safe Streets, and then we just met a gentleman here with the Moms. So we're going to be doing more of that, engaging people in conversations to help them find the resources to maybe deter some of the violence that's going on.
The other thing that they asked me about when they were here was community development, because many of their churches are directly in neighborhoods and communities that need to be redeveloped. And so we're giving them information on how to form community development corporations, to look at the neighborhoods that surround their churches. We talked about, for example, where you live, that there are drug activity going on, which is why they thought it was important to monitor the neighborhood. But they're also interested in how we're revitalizing Park Heights as well. So, anybody else want to share?
I'm sorry. Along with that, I believe Reverend Hathaway, we met at the Frederick Douglass High School. You were mentioning a safe house and creating, your church would be able to kind of renovate a house that was vacant with blight and creating a safe house for youth to go to if they didn't have anywhere to go. Is that sort of in the works as well?
Not only in the works, last Saturday we had 90 persons from the community. We had them with lunch, sat in conversation, and we're blessed that we have good partners, not only the city of Baltimore, we have University of Maryland School of Social Work, as well as we have United Way. So there's a family stabilization program that we're involved in. You may know it as Promise Heights, where we're very active and engaged with people in the community, and we continue to bring them together in conversations.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to add anything?
Yes, I just want to share that in East Baltimore there are 5 churches that are partnering together. We initially came together to do community and economic development, but also being aware of the fact that as we redevelop buildings, we need to make sure that we're also empowering people. And so that's one of the initiatives that's a part of our redevelopment project as well.
Bishop?
One of the things we work on, our church is not located exactly in the city. We're right on the city line, Baltimore County and Baltimore City, in the business park. And so one of the areas that we've chosen to stake out to try to make change is in developing young people into being young leaders, to giving them an alternative course of life, an alternative course of direction, helping them to develop strong leadership skills, to be independent thinkers, and to move from an environment where they're led to one where they lead. And we're seeing some tremendous response in that.
Yes.
I want to just add that in Cherry Hill, we have the Cherry Hill Ministerial Alliance, and we've been working for many years now. And one of the things that we've been able to do very, very successfully is work together with Safe Streets. I am a huge proponent of Safe Streets and violent intervention. If you notice, you don't hear Cherry Hill too much in the news, and that's because of the collaboration that we have between all of the churches and Safe Streets, and being able to have quick responses when incidents happen in the community. And so the smallness of the community also gives us the ability to get a handle around it. But the collaboration between Safe Streets, the churches, and the businesses have been very, very successful for us. And so we want to continue that movement forward.
Thank you all. Thank you, everybody. See you all.
Madam Mayor, may I just ask you one more question? The Archdiocese of Baltimore is a pretty large archdiocese that extends all the way out into Anne Arundel counties. My church in particular, I know they have a brother and fellow church here in Baltimore that they kind of support. What's being done that kind of incorporates the Catholic?
So I spoke to Bishop Laurie yesterday, who's going to be a part of this effort as well. You know, they work very well with the homeless community. We were just over at Hums helping up Mission. We just opened up a new kitchen over there. We're preparing for the homeless, and so I did speak to Bishop Laurie yesterday, so he will be a part of this effort, and we'll reach out to the Catholic community as well. Thank you.
If I could just chime in on that. In our Northwest Faith-Based Coalition, we also have St. Ambrose and all of the Catholic churches that are working with us in regards to that. And we're putting together somewhat like a safe house, but it's called a social settlement house, where neighbors can actually walk to the house and sign up for health care and get connected with various services and pantries. And the Catholic Church is working with us in regards to that as well.
Yeah. And let me also add that the Muslim community is very active.
Yes.
The imam was supposed to be here, but he had to do a funeral. They are walking with the faith leaders in Park Heights. I think I mentioned to you all one evening at 9:30 p.m. is when they usually gather, moving throughout the neighborhood as violence interrupters as well, 41 spanning out throughout that particular area, but they're also working in other parts of the city as well.
Yes.
So, yeah. Thank you all.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Thank you.
I think we have one more. I have a, how many of you all voted for Devon? Devon, The Voice, The Voice. Did y'all vote? All right, Jane, you didn't vote. He's out. He's out because you didn't vote. He's out. He's out because you didn't vote. Well, let me just you don't. Right. Please inform. Please inform. Well, Devon, actually, while he was out as of last week, he also performed this week on the Voice, and just was totally outstanding. And we have a special announcement that we'll make, and I'm not going to spoil that announcement, but I wanted to remind you all that we are doing the Martin Luther King Day Parade along with a day of service, and we're working with United Way and some other organizations as it relates to the day of service. We've had several people sign up, and we just want to remind the bands and so forth that to get ready. And we're reaching out to all of them. The deadline is Sunday, December 31st for them to apply. I think we have about 4 or 5 bands who've already signed up, so we're very excited about that. I think you want to share some words, United Way, for the day of service.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I'm Franklin Baker, the President and CEO for United Way of Central Maryland. And we are extremely proud and honored to partner with the Mayor's office to participate in the Day of Service in honor of the enduring legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We're excited for this opportunity for partnership. United Way of Central Maryland And many of our partner agencies have been working closely with our struggling citizens, providing services to them over 90 years in Baltimore City. We help bring together, in this particular day of service, lots of nonprofits to partner with them to find ways for us to actually not stay home, but be engaged of service on the day of service. So be sure to visit the mayor's website to make sure that you can identify a service opportunity, to find out how you specifically can partner with us and the mayor's office to make this a meaningful day of service as we remember the effective, powerful work of such a powerful person, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And so we just also want to remind those listening, you have 10 days left for,
this is the real deal here.
Yes, 10 days left for United Way's campaign, the annual campaign where we work with government agencies, we work with over 500 companies to enroll in employees, to donate, advocate, and volunteer. 10 days left until the end of the year to fill in your pledge card or go online, select a partner agency that you'd like to fund, or continue to partner with United Way in funding some of our initiatives in the community. Just wanted to remind you of that. Thank you so much for your attention, and we really appreciate the opportunity to live united with every single one of you.
And you all know that with this new tax law that passed, what was that, last night? I think they got to go back and do a redo over in the House piece. But one of the things that was said was that giving to nonprofits will probably decrease because of these new laws. And so I want to remind people of how much work the United Way and nonprofit organizations in our city specifically do. I want to thank you, Franklin, for the work at the convention center. As you all well know, once a year they do a big event at the convention center. Over 1,000 people got teeth fixed, specifically focused on the homeless. Close to 500 or 700 people got eyeglasses, walked away with eyeglasses. Over 300 people's records were expunged that day at the convention center. 500 IDs were issued for people who didn't have identification, and you know that many people leave our institutions and it's difficult if you don't have identification. I remember passing a law at the state level when I was a senator requiring that if somebody was on medication that they receive their 45 days of medication because it's so difficult. I also required the state to provide folks with their identification. Now, I don't know whether we're doing that because we're still finding so many people without identification. I don't think anybody's checking to see whether that has taken place. But when you don't have identification, you can't get your medication and all of these things. So you all took care of that too at the convention center. A tremendous service. So again, I just want to remind everybody we have 10 days left in the year to sign up, give to United Way, pick a charity of your choice, but please give because these new tax laws, I believe, will infringe on some of that. But our hope is that people in Baltimore will understand the significance of the United Way and what it does for our neighborhoods and communities. People walked away with clothes, all kinds of services, jobs were given on that day. They had assembled opportunities for people to work. So again, thank you for all that you do. We appreciate it. Any questions?
Can we just follow up on that tax bill? So Mr. Bigg, what is your concern? How deep is the concern that there's going to be a pullback in contributions to charity because people will no longer be itemizing deductions?
Right, as you stated, since more and more people,
I'm sorry.
Since more and more people will be leveraging the increase in the standard deduction, it just means that there's less of an incentive for them to actually carve out dollars towards charities. So the international president and CEO, Brian Gallagher for United Way, essentially is looking at somewhere around a 2 to 5% hit within United Way system that may also carry over into other nonprofits. But our assessment of what that might mean for donations through United Way as a portal could be somewhere in a 2 to 5% range or higher. We don't know. This is the first time we've ever faced this, right?
30.
So it could be, yeah, it could be literally a greater impact.
What is that in dollar amount?
The number that he used was in international terms, but locally for United Way, we generate usually around $35, $37 million, so 5% of that, whatever that number is.
Thank you. Any questions for me? Okay, thank you. I know. I was going to say happy holidays. Have a good one, you all. Good.
Mayor, a lot of people have been talking about their water bills. I met an 81-year-old woman yesterday, even with her senior discount and her hardship discount, she was still paying $385 water bill, and where she wouldn't be able to buy Christmas presents for her family.
How old is she? How old is she?
81.
Yeah, we have senior discounts. We have big discounts for seniors, and
That was already applied, and she was still paying that much for her and her husband in a 3-bedroom home. Sorry, 1-bedroom home, 3 rooms, kitchen and everything. But she was telling me that how much she was paying for over the course of 3 months from November to December.
Okay.
I'm sorry, October to December. And I mean, I've just been listening to stories like that throughout yesterday. I was out over at DPW's Customer Service and Support office, and I'm just curious to know, these bills seem kind of odd. A lot of people are getting really odd bills, and of course, you know, I've talked to Director Chow, and I understand the concerns about, you know, the sewage, water, and wastewater being harder to treat, and all this other infrastructure that's being updated. Is there any concern that you might have to maybe do a water bill performance audit to make sure that, you know, water bills are being done properly and making sure that people are getting their water bills that are properly supposed to be informed, making sure their meters are read? I know everything's automated now, but has that been checked since 2012?
so I'm going to have Mr. Chow answer most of your questions, but let me just say this. We're under federal mandate to fix the pipes. We just experienced a water main break just a few days ago, and it cost money to fix those pipes. The federal government is not giving us any money to fix those pipes. They're over 100 years old. If we don't fix the pipes underneath for our water system, they'll just continue to bust. Water will continue to flow our streets. It'll continue to cost us additional dollars. What we're doing is what we call a long-term fix, so that when we fix these pipes, we don't have to come back and do this over and over again. I think people are experiencing, one of the things that you know that we've done is that we don't take anybody's house for a water bill. Water bill alone, your house cannot be taken. That is a mandate from this office, and we're not having it. But we do have some programs, especially for seniors, as it relates to, and for people who have difficulty paying their water bill. The other issue is that there may be a leak underneath that property, and we encourage you to contact us so that we can come and check it out. I mean, we've had this, I mean, even folks who don't think anything's going on, think their water bill is rather high. We go out, we check, and we find out that there's a leakage somewhere. Sometimes it may be on the city side, sometimes it's on the individual side. So we've implemented a program here, especially around fixing our sewer system. This is an old system. It's an old city. It's an old system, but it's got to be fixed. And, you know, I'm hoping that when we talk about infrastructure dollars that the federal government is coming up with in February, that perhaps we can pursue some of that for this. We don't want people's water bills to be beyond their ability to pay. And, you know, for many people in the city, it can be, but we have help. We can get assistance. Whether it's through the city or social services, there are opportunities to get assistance. Did you want to share?
Sure. So for the specific case that you were mentioning, the mayor is absolutely correct, right? So the first thing we really need to know is is actually for the homeowner to contact us, so we can do our investigation, determine what the cause of the hike is. So you mentioned about, or your question about, are we, you know, the audits, are the bills being accurate and all that? I can tell you it's a heck of a lot more accurate than what we used to have, right? Right. And right now, we're actually taking reads on an hourly basis. So when one says, I have a high bill, we can go back and look at historical usages. We can literally pinpoint the exact date, the hour when the spike occurred. And certainly, I think through investigative work, we can determine the cause of these high bills. And then if indeed there are leaks on site, we have programs, we have policies in place to do certain things to help support, waive certain requirements such as adjustments and all that. So we have a variety of tools that's available. But the key is that we got to know about it. They got to talk to us about it, So we can determine the origin of the cause, and then we can do something to fix it.
Mayor, if you could ask a follow-up to what you just said, that you told staff no home is going to be taken due to water.
No home can be taken for a water bill only.
So does that mean you're prohibiting tax sales for water bill debts?
For water bill liens. You
Okay.
can't, your house can't be taken for a water bill lien only.
Mayor, the ACLU has requested body cam footage from Harlan Park from the days when the neighborhood was locked down from the police department. Do you think the police department should release it, and do you believe the public has a right to see it?
I'll have that conversation with the police department, and I'll share my results from that conversation.
Some allegations emerged from a case yesterday, another case that was dropped about Detective Suter. One of the men who was released from prison, who had drugs found, said that Detective Suter had smashed his car. Does it change at all your perception of the case, of what is happening? What is happening with the FBI?
So what I've asked for is an FBI investigation, and when the Attorney General was here last week, he said that they may take the case. We're still applying pressure. I was with our federal delegation yesterday. We're still applying pressure, asking the FBI to investigate this case.
And they have not responded?
They have not responded to me.
Madam Mayor, is there any concern that the reason why they're not responding is because they don't want to be a part of this investigation? They don't want to take the lead?
Well, I'd like to hear them say that. We've asked. I mean, they can respond. We certainly have asked, so we have to wait for a response, and we'll just ask until they respond.
Hypothetically, if they decline to take the lead of the case, do you, would you favor having another agency,
I would.
police, et cetera? I mean, you plan to ask for.
Yeah, I just think there needs to be outside eyes on this case.
I mean, given what's happened, there's rumors the FOP might have a confidence vote. The commissioner, do you still support? Does Police Commissioner Kevin Davis still have your support? Or you still have confidence in him?
I do, yeah. When you talk about this detective unit, this was 2008, 2009, he wasn't even here.
But I mean, in 2016, I mean, the Boundaries Task Force was doing stuff while he was commissioner.
When it comes to the trial boards that are going on right now, do you have any comment on, we just talked with a father the other day, one of the police officers who said that his son was a good man. Do you have any comment on these accusations of the officers?
No.
Can I ask a follow-up on a safety?
Sure.
This will, as you know, cause questions to be asked because Drew Vetter, who's in charge of the Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice, is a police guy. He's not helping.
No, he's not a police guy. He worked in the police department. He's not a police guy. He didn't. Yeah, but he didn't even start out in the police department. He was actually the legislative person. He worked in other administrations. He worked as the chief of staff for the police commissioner, but he's not a policeman. And he has a policy background, a criminal justice background, and a management background. And we believe that he has the capacity and capability to lead this particular agency. So I have full confidence in the model of safe streets. And when I look at best practices around the nation, who's doing it best, I think New York, if you go and examine their program, is run out of the mayor's office. And so we will do everything we can to make sure that the integrity of this program is protected.
Madam Mayor, I know you've talked before about how every time there's a homicide in the city, you're alerted about it.
Yes.
What was your reaction, if any, to the Fells Point murder from a couple days ago? A man at his job steps outside to call his wife, I believe, and he's murdered on the sidewalk.
The same as my reaction is the same as it has been for every murder in this city, whether it was a speed chase where I was at a police officer's funeral, too many illegal guns on the streets of the city. As you all know, I've said it very clearly. This is about getting folks who have guns, illegal guns, off of the streets of our city. And I am will be working at the state level to do that because we have got to get violence under control in the city. We are doing, which is why we're bringing ROCA here, which is why we're expanding safe streets, which is why we're creating more apprenticeships in our city agencies and working with the private sector. But this is an all-hand, which is why we've expanded the hours so that we can, in the recreation center, so that we can put our hands on our young people. Last night I met with another 30 groups of young people who are doing activities across the city. This is a 24/7 nonstop effort to make this city safer and safest. But again, it requires, not just the police department, it requires neighborhoods and communities. That's why you see the engagement with the church communities. I mean, I'm walking neighborhoods on Saturdays and Sundays. I'm in churches talking with groups and so forth and asking everybody to join me in this effort to reduce violence in the city. But getting illegal guns off the streets of our city is a major issue, and we've got to tackle that problem. I'm meeting with the judges soon to talk about their engagement in making Baltimore a safer city. So I look forward to the outcome of that discussion.
And police say that it was young people involved in this, and other police officials are saying that this seems to be a trend that is not going away. How concerning is that for you, that it's more young people getting involved in these violent acts?
Well, that's why we're bringing, let me be clear about ROCA, because people think we're bringing a whole team of folks. ROCA is will be a local program. It is not similar to Safe Streets, but like what we did with Safe Streets. Safe Streets was a national model. We looked at, across the country, a proven program that works in terms of focusing in on young people, and that's what ROCA will do. It'll take us about 3, 4, 5 months to rev up. I think you heard that from the programmers. I've gone out privately and raised dollars for this specific program, and I will, the city's budget is but so big. But I'm going to the Ford Foundation, I'm talking to the private sector, I'm talking to philanthropic communities, because I believe that the resources are necessary, must be gotten to help us reduce violence in our city.
Mayor, as more and more revelations come out about the gun trace task force,
Mm-hmm.
it seems that every day there's a new
revelation.
Yes. Yeah. This seems to be a scandal that's growing.
Yes.
Are you afraid it goes higher, or what is your impression of how deep the corruption goes?
Well, let me just say that while it's still a small percentage of our police department, it certainly is concerning for all of us. And I know that is something that we take very seriously, which is, again, while I think it's important for us to have individuals on trial boards, I think it's important in terms of how we scrutinize our police department, our training, and all of those things are important to us in terms of who we're bringing into the police department. I believe that for the most part, our police officers come to protect and serve. I've been to a few graduations already, and I know that the individuals who are coming into this police department want to protect our city.
But given Luke's question, which I think is, there's just some things from last week that I can't really kind of get together, which is, one, you're saying they can't investigate the homicide of one of their own, and then you've got this growing scandal. I mean,
no, I didn't say they couldn't investigate. No, I said that I wanted the FBI to come in. I didn't say they couldn't investigate.
It's clear why. You say you want another set of eyes, but if you look at it in tandem with what Luke asked, there's this burgeoning scandal, that seems to get worse every day. And then you're saying that the department is incapable of investigating the death on its own. What is this?
No, I didn't say that. You said they were incapable. I said I want another set of eyes on it. And, I can't give you your answer. I can only give you mine. I want another set of eyes on it. That's what I've asked for. Okay. Because everybody else suggested we do so. I suggested we do so. I said it to the commissioner, and I believe it's the right thing to do. And so that's what we've asked for.
Madam Mayor, this is admittedly off topic, but I understand that the Artist Housing Commission that you pulled together is going to be releasing its report either today or by the end of the week. Do you know when that report might be coming out? Can you comment at all on the work?
Yeah, I think it's coming out today or tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it.
Can you comment at all about what you're expecting to see in the report? Have you been briefed on it yet?
No, I haven't been briefed on it. I'm looking forward to reading it. I'm looking forward to the suggestions that will come from it. I think we had some good people there, and I just hope it's inclusive of everyone who's in the arts community who's looking for change.
Madam Mayor, just going back to Luke's question about the broad effect this gun trace task force case can have. Like, if people are concerned about corruption in the police department, they continue to see these new happenings with the investigation, how does that affect the willingness of people to come forward in a murder case like in Fells Point and trust police and be willing to be witnesses in cases and report information? if there's this concern that this gun trace task force case keeps expanding?
Well, I think that's part of the reason why we brought so much more new technology into the city. You know, the $5 million to put up additional cameras so that we can see what's going on. You'll hear about new other initiatives moving forward. You know, again, I don't think that this is a problem just the police alone that they can solve. And so that's why, you know, we've raised $5 million for additional technology. We've got 6,000 more lights and cameras going up around the city, and you'll hear more as we continue to move forward. Thank you, everybody.
One last question.
Sure.
Pimlico, I just noticed, there's a transfer of funds for the racetrack impact funds. That money, is that because we're hoping to see changes to Pimlico in 2018, that being?
I think that was an item that was delayed.
Oh, that was delayed?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, thank you.